channel. My name is Cassandra. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today's class will be a beginner yoga class, and when I say beginner, I really do mean beginner. So if you've never done yoga before, or maybe you haven't been physically active for a little while, this is a great class for you to get back into it. We won't be doing any challenging poses. There'll be a lot of opportunities for you to take breaks or move slowly. Having some props handy can be a really good idea. So good props to have are yoga blocks. If you don't own a yoga block, you can always get some really thick books that you can layer on top of each other, or even some thick blankets should do the trick, or even a bolster. And the last thing you might want to do is make sure that your mat is close to a wall so you can lean against it for balancing poses. And if you're not really near a wall, or that doesn't work for where you're doing yoga today, you can bring a chair and keep a chair close to your mat. So let's go ahead and get started.
Let's begin in a child's pose, so bringing the knees underneath your shoulders and allowing your hips to sink down onto your heels, bringing your arms alongside your body. If you find that your head is not quite reaching the ground, you can always grab a block or a couple of thick books and place them underneath your forehead. Let your shoulders be heavy as you start to connect to your breath, letting it flow evenly in and out through the nostrils, softening your belly onto your thighs. Releasing any tension through your upper back. Focusing completely on your breathing. Bring your palms directly underneath your shoulders as you slowly lift your way back up, moving the block out of the way. Coming into a tabletop pose, palms underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. We'll come into a few rounds of cat and cow. So as you inhale, go ahead and simply start dropping your belly, lifting your gaze, squeezing your shoulder blades behind your back, curling tailbone up. And as you exhale, round your spine, bringing your chin to chest, pressing belly button towards your back. Inhale, drop your belly, reach your heart forward, keep your elbows straight. Exhale, move through the motions, rounding your spine, curling tailbone under, breathing out. Inhale, drop your belly once more, look up, squeeze your shoulder blades, and slowly move back into cat, rounding your spine, creating space between your shoulder blades. Last one, reach forward, belly drops. Exhale, belly button to spine, curl tailbone under, press your palms into the mat. And then coming back into your neutral tabletop pose, reach your right leg back, reaching your right heel down towards the mat, feeling the stretch through your calf, Achilles tendon, maintaining both hips leveled and squared down towards your mat. Just starting to warm up the legs here. Slowly bring your right knee back to center, switching sides. Left leg extends out, left toes stay down on the mat. Reach your left heel down towards the floor. Maintain an engaged belly here, tapping into your core. And slowly come back to center. And let's move into a little bit of abdominal exercise. So squeeze your right thigh in towards your chest. And as you inhale, reach your right leg back. Exhale, bring your right knee in towards your chest once more, moving really slowly. Inhale, reaching it back. So go with your breath here. Exhale to bring it in. Inhale to reach it back. A few more, just like that. Exhale, squeeze your leg in towards the midline. Inhale, reach it back. Keep a nice long spine here. A few more. reaching your knee in towards your belly, and then spreading your toes, reaching that leg out towards the back, slowly setting down, preparing for the second side. Left knee comes in towards your belly, and as you inhale, stretch your left leg back, left toes engaged. Exhale, left knee comes in towards the chest. Inhale, reach it back. Maybe your foot only lifts an inch or two off of the ground. Exhale to squeeze it in, engage your lower belly. Inhale to reach it back, create length. Squeeze it in on the exhale, and go ahead and reach it back on the inhale. Slowly lowering back down. And then please make your way back into a comfortable seated position. You might need to grab a block and bring it with you. We're going to be setting up for Baddha Konasana, so if you find that your knees come up pretty high, having a block handy is really useful so that you can sit up on both sits bones. And then bring the soles of your feet to touch, knees fall apart, shoulders are stacked directly over top of your hips. Keep a nice long spine here. And then as you inhale, reach both arms up, palms come to touch. Exhale, lower them back down onto the ground. So really fill up the belly, fill up the lungs as you reach up. And exhale fully throughout the nose as you lower both arms down. Let's do a few more just like that. Inhale, reach our arms up, lower shoulders down away from your ears. Slowly exhale, arms come down. Inhale to rise up. Palms are touching. Exhale to lower. Really move with the rhythm of your own breath here. And then go ahead and cross your ankles. And we'll come into a twist. So as you inhale, arms reach up. And as you exhale, your left palm will come over to your right knee, setting your right palm behind you a couple inches. You want to make sure this twist is coming from your lumbar spine, so you're pressing your belly button back. And it's not just your shoulders that are doing the motions. You should be able to breathe fully here. All the way down to your belly. Inhale, come back to center, arms reach up, second side. Exhale to twist, right palm over left knee. Left palm is about 6 inches towards the back. And we're not trying to twist too deep here. Keep your chin in line with your chest. We're just slowly working our spinal rotation. Inhale, back to center, both arms reach up, moving into a side bend this time. As you exhale, your right palm comes down onto the ground, left fingertips reach up and over, rolling your left shoulder down away from your ear, and just let your head be heavy here so you can get a little bit of a neck release. Both sits bones are evenly grounded down onto the floor, so you're not leaning over too far. Just feeling the expansion as you slowly come back to center. Arms reach up overhead as you inhale, filling up the belly, filling up the lungs. Exhale, left palm down, right fingertips reach up and over. Once again, letting the head be completely relaxed. Breathing into your right side body, into your ribs. One more deep breath. And then go ahead and come back to center. Let's move the block out of the way, coming back into our tabletop pose. So stacking your hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips, and we'll come into puppy pose as opposed to downward dog. So keep your hips high up on your knees and reach your palms forward, gently lowering your forehead and your chest down onto the ground. And having a block underneath your forehead can be really nice here. So we're not coming into child's pose, we're in puppy pose, which means that our hips are stacked directly over top of your knees. So don't let your hips go down onto your heels. Keep your belly a little bit engaged here, and your upper body, shoulders, chest, heart, all melting down forward towards the ground. Shoulders are away from the ears, trying to get a little bit of a stretch through the upper body into the armpits and the shoulder girdle. You can choose if you'd prefer curling your toes under here or laying them flat, whatever is more accessible to you and helps you balance. Slowly come back up, bringing your palms in. We'll stretch out the hip flexors here, so please step your right foot forward. You might need to grab your leg a little bit, stacking your right knee over top of your right ankle. And just go ahead and maybe pad your left knee before setting it down onto the mat, coming into a low lunge. Make sure your feet are hip width distance apart, and then go ahead and come up, bringing your palms onto your hips. And if that doesn't feel too good for balance, you can always make sure that you're doing this against a wall, leaning on a chair, or maybe putting both palms onto some blocks. And we're not going to try to lower our hips too low. Instead, we're just going to curl tailbone under and really feel that stretch through the front left hip. And keep pressing your belly button towards your spine so that you're not excessively curving your lower back. Start to straighten out your right leg, moving into half splits as you gently start to fold forward, maintaining a flat back here. Keep pulling that right hip back, left hip forward. We're not folding over too much, just slowly starting to wake up those hamstrings and develop a stronger sense of balance and stability. Slowly start to bend back into your right knee, bring both palms onto the ground, curl your toes under, lifting your knee, and go ahead and just bring your right knee back into tabletop pose. And we'll lower all the way down onto our belly, keeping elbows close in towards the ribs until you're completely laying down. Moving into 3 baby cobras here, palms are underneath the shoulders. As you inhale, you're going to keep your legs grounded down, glued onto the floor, lifting head, shoulders, and palms up. Exhale, slowly lower back down onto the mat. 2 more, just like that. Inhale, chin, chest, and palms reach up, squeezing your shoulder blades behind your back. Exhale, slowly come down. Keep the back of the neck long. 1 last time. Inhale, come up. Only an inch or 2, using your back strength to pull you up. Exhale to set it down. Plant both palms down onto the mat to push yourself back up into a tabletop pose. And we'll switch sides for our lunge here. So this time you'll step your left foot forward in between your palms, making sure that your left knee is not going past your left ankle. Maybe pad your right knee before you set it down, especially if you do have sensitive knees here. And then slowly come up, maybe leaning on a wall, on a chair, or just allowing both palms to rest on either hip. Very slowly letting the hips sink down, but we're not looking for anything too intense, focusing more on stability and on opening the front of that right hip, your psoas muscle, that major hip flexor. Keep breathing deeply down into the sensations. Moving into half splits, straighten your left leg, slowly starting to fold forward, maintaining a flat back, straight spine. Pulling left hip back, right hip forward. And keep flexing your left foot firmly against your face. Let's bend our left knee, bringing both palms on the ground, rolling the mat out of the way. Left knee comes back down onto the ground as you slowly lower all the way down onto your belly, exactly as we've done. Shoulders away from the ears, elbows close in tight. 3 more baby cobras from here. As you inhale, Chin, chest, palms lift up, squeeze your shoulder blades behind your back, and gently lower back down on the inhale. Keep your legs glued to the ground, squeeze your inner thighs. Inhale, chin, chest, come up. Slowly set it back down. Keep your belly engaged here. Lifting up one last time. Slowly lowering back down, pushing your way back up and coming into puppy pose once more. So keeping your hips up high above your knees and gently lowering your chest down, bringing your palms forward. Taking a few moments here before we continue on with our practice. So maybe slowing down the breath, sending it all the way down to your belly, letting your shoulders and upper chest be completely relaxed. Slowly come back up, and now however you need to get there, we're just going to come to stand, folding forward. So let your knees bend, feet hip-width distance apart, and really bend your knees so much that your belly can comfortably rest on your thighs. And you can just grab for opposite elbows here, maybe gently swaying from side to side, making sure that your head is heavy, neck is relaxed. You're distributing your weight evenly through all four corners of your feet. And we're not focusing too much on the hamstrings here. We're really just trying to lengthen the spine. So bend your knees as much as you need to, and then bend them a little bit deeper as you slowly roll all the way back up and come to stand. Head is the last to come up, rolling shoulders up and back. Moving into a few balancing postures here, a few standing postures. Feet are hip-width distance apart, and go ahead and keep your right hand on your hip, left arm rises up and over, and as you exhale, go ahead and move into your side bend. So exactly like we did in a seated position, but this time we're grounding our feet down into the mat, pushing our hips one way as our fingertips reach the opposite way. Coming back to center, switching sides, left palm on left hip, right arm rises up, and as you exhale, go ahead and reaching those fingertips over towards the side. Keep your lower ribs in here, belly is slightly engaged. Inhale back to center, and moving into balancing poses here, you might want to lean against the wall if balance is tricky for you. Put more weight into your right foot as you maybe just lean your left heel onto your ankle, or you can really let the entire sole of your foot rest to the inside of your calf, or maybe up to your inner thigh. Keep pressing your left knee open, and once you have your balance, you can move your palm away from the wall, maybe bring them onto the hips or at heart center. And keep your gaze focused on something that is not moving. Keep lowering your shoulders away from your ears, slightly tucking your tailbone under so that your lower back is nice and long. Keep firmly pressing that left foot into the inside of your right calf, opening up your left knee, squeezing everything in towards the midline, and then let's lower down, switching over to the second side this time. So maybe just letting your right heel rest on the ankle, or maybe firmly pressing that right foot to the inside of your calf, bringing the palms wherever is comfortable for you, either down onto your hips, at heart center, leaning against a wall or a chair. Focusing on building stability and strength here. Remember to keep your gaze focused. Maybe a couple feet in front of you on the ground. And if you wobble out and fall out of it, don't worry about it too much. Just come back to center, coming back into the pose, breathing your way through it. Two more breaths. Moving into our next balancing posture, maybe visiting the wall again, grounding down into your right foot, and go ahead and lift your left knee as high up as you can get it off of the ground. Maybe using your left hand to hold it up a little bit. Maybe reaching your right hand as well so that both hands are supporting the underside of your thigh. Take a few moments here to really firm up that knee in towards your chest, finding stability through your right foot, right leg, stacking one joint on top of the other, and then as you exhale, go ahead and open up your left knee towards the side. Right palm comes onto your hip. So as you're externally rotating that left hip, keep intending that left knee out. Slowly bring it back to center and set your foot back down, preparing for the second side. Finding stability through your left foot this time as you slowly lift your right knee up. And if you find that your knee doesn't quite make it up, you can always choose to keep your toes down onto the ground. And then go ahead and hold to the underside of your leg with both palms. Keep engaging your belly, engaging your abdominals here. That's what's going to help you find balance. Inhale to open up your right knee towards the side. Left palm comes back down onto your left hip. Externally rotating your right hip this time, keeping both shoulder blades squeezing down behind your back. Freeing up the neck. Shoulders are stacked directly over top of your hips. Bring your knee back to center and go ahead and release. Step your left foot out a couple of feet and point both toes out at a 45-degree angle, pointing towards the top edges of your mat. Palms come onto your hips and slowly start to bend your knees, sinking your hips down. So you almost want your knees to come to stack directly over top of your ankles. Hold here on the exhale. And then as you inhale, come back up and straighten. We'll do that a few times. Exhale, bend your knees, sink your hips, fire up your quads. Inhale, lengthen and straighten your legs. Exhale, bend your knees, sink your hips. Inhale, rise back up, and we'll do it again, and this time we'll hold. So as you sink your hips down and bend your knees, find some space in your lower back, curling your tailbone under, externally rotating both hips this time so that both knees press out. Shoulders are still directly over top of your hips, and then slowly come back to center, stepping to the top of your mat. Coming into chair pose, feet are hip width distance apart, palms come to heart center, bend your knees, sink your hips down low. Put most of the weight into your heels as you hold here. Imagining that you could sink down into an invisible chair. Two more breaths. Slowly inhale, press to stand, arms reach up overhead, palms come to touch, fill up the belly, fill up the lungs. Exhale, swan dive forward, bend your knees as you come down. Halfway lift as you inhale, palms come onto the shins, back is flat, reach your heart forward. Exhale, fold down, plant your palms once more. Lower your hips down onto the mat so you're back into a seated position. And from here, let's extend our right foot forward, maybe sitting up on a block if you find that your lower back is rounding quite a bit. So right leg out, and you're going to cross your left ankle over your right thigh. grabbing onto that left thigh with your right arm and slowly moving into a twist. Left palm is behind you a few inches, and we're not going too deep here. Again, remembering that twists come from your lower belly, lower back. So it's not just your shoulders that are going through the motions. You want to feel this twist come from the ground up. Inhale back to center. Uncrossing your legs, bringing your right leg in, left leg out. And this time your right ankle crosses over your left thigh, using your left arm to hold on to that right leg. Right fingertips reach back a couple inches, twisting against that right leg. Holding for 3 full belly breaths here. If you find that your breathing is short or shallow, you might have gone a little bit too deep and need to back out. Inhale back to center. Uncross your legs, move your block out of the way, and slowly come to lay down on your back. Keeping your knees bent, soles of the feet flat down onto the ground, about hip width distance apart, and you want to be able to reach back with and touch your heels. Arms come out to either side, moving into bridge pose. Plant your feet into the mat and slowly start to lift your hips up off of the ground, pressing them up towards the sky. Exhale to lower. A few more times just like that. Engage your lower body, engage your legs. Press your feet into the mat, lifting your hips up and slowly setting them down. Inhale, press your feet, lift your hips, squeeze your inner thighs, lowering down slowly. Please cross your right ankle. Please bring your right knee in towards your chest, slowly pulling it down, keeping your left knee bent. Taking a few breaths here, deep into your hips. Head and shoulders stay down onto the mat. Slowly bring your right foot back down onto the mat, switching sides. Left knee comes into the chest. Taking 5 more very deep breaths right here. Starting to slow down our practice. Lower your left foot back down onto the ground, setting up for Shavasana, our final resting pose. Maybe straightening both legs down onto the ground, arms come to either side. And this is a time for you to be completely still. All the muscles in your body are fully relaxed, supported by the ground underneath you. And I encourage you to stay here as long as feels comfortable for you, taking a few minutes, using this constructive rest for your body to integrate all the work you've done. Maybe allowing the eyes to close, feeling the breath wash over you like a wave. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you have a wonderful day. Namaste.